Come on. There you go. These the rats really respond to nurturing, cooing. You know, if they're about to sort of, if you make a move and they're about to dart back in their holes, if you give them a little encouragement, they pick up on it really well. Very intelligent. But like I said, yesterday or the day before, no 2 days on the river are the same. Yesterday, although I arrived a lot later, there was sort of 40 ducks here. And this morning, we got 5. I don't think I've ever been down here when there's been 5 ducks. I would love to know what the deciding factors and the winds of changes are. Because I would imagine that they run both through the animal world and the human world. Come on, sweetie. Come on, baby. Come on. Hello, sweetie. Come on, son. There you go. Are you hungry? Mm, there you go. Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of glad it's a bit quieter this morning. Oh, it's been a rough week for me. Professionally, a rough week. I can tell that by the fact I'm halfway through my cigar in about 5 minutes. Yeah, but this week's been a different one for me professionally. A lot of pushback, a lot of boundaries and things, a lot of issues in the boardroom. Pushed back a lot this week, and it kind of went my way. But I also, some things didn't go the way I think they should have done. So I kind of wasn't happy with it, and I think that's a lesson for us. Like sometimes in life we're a bit afraid of pushing back. And certainly if you've grown up in a family where that's not being encouraged. So we'll often second guess ourselves, and we'll often think of reasons why we shouldn't push back and why we should perhaps just cooperate with the demands of the people around us. But the more you begin to push back in a healthy way, because what will often happen when you've grown up in a situation like that, or if you live in a situation like that, when you try and push back in life, you will often do so out of anger. Because if you're not used to pushing back, you will get pushed down for so long that when you do push back, you kind of erupt. And then, the people can point and say, look, you're being unreasonable. And, you kind of have to then go back and start accepting again. But if you learn to very sort of calmly stand your ground and think very clearly about what it is you're trying to do and trying to achieve, and, try and do the right things, try and do the right things in life, the right things for you and the right things for the others around you. As you do that, it's a lot harder for anybody to stop you from pushing back. However, if you've grown up with that kind of situation, when you push back, you will feel a level of guilt. And especially if they give a little back in return, you're going to feel so grateful for that. It's called breadcrumbing. You're going to feel so grateful for that that you kind of you start giving back, or you give back in other ways that you hadn't really anticipated. Somebody can give with one hand and take with the other. But what I've begun to realize is that sometimes when you do push back and maybe you feel like you've gone too far, the most likely thing is that you actually haven't gone far enough. And that's what I've found this week. You know, I pushed back a lot, but then I realized it wasn't hard enough and it wasn't firm enough so that it left room for interpretation and it left room to try and pull me back into a pattern that I didn't want to be a part of. So I'm going to take the remainder of the week to produce a document entitled The Way Forward. And this is going to be the way that I will move forward for this particular organization and probably for all organizations, probably for myself and probably for all people. And I think it's important that we all identify what skills we have, what we can offer, because I think there's a level of service here in life, isn't there? We're serving, sometimes we're serving a company, a person, um, an organization, a country, ourselves, God. We're serving at any given time. Ah, here they come. Here everybody comes. Where have you all been? Ah, did you hear the cries of enjoyment from the food? But yeah, so yeah, and I think in order to be of service, in order to be of best service to your employer, your family, your partner, your family, yourself, to God, I think in order to be of the best, to be of the best service, you have to really be yourself. You have to be very calm. You have to be very strong in your boundaries. You have to be very clear in what it is you're trying to do. So that is what I'm going to be doing this for the rest of the week. It's the weekend. I've got a couple of days to sort of finalize all the thoughts I've had from the week and drop that forward in a document. And that is how that is, once that's done, that is how I will be moving forward with everyone and everything within my professional career. And I've been chatting to a few friends this week who've been going through or have gone through similar things, and I think I don't know which film it is, but there's a quote or something. Life will kick your ass until you fight back. And it does, and you know, it's very awful for some people because a lot of people can't fight back or haven't fought back yet. And that was me for a large part of my life. And I think I ran from life a lot. But I'm done running. This guy's not done running, but I'm done running, and I'm planting my feet and saying, look, this is how I'm operating. Don't like it? That's your business. Yeah, it's definitely getting a lot busier here. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think I really need to offload to you guys too much about that. I think I'm pretty clear. I know where I'm at. I don't feel like I've had a week off. Oh, I feel like I've worked harder this week in some ways than any other week. What's the matter, buddy? Yeah? What's the matter? You by yourself? You want some food? didn't used to like these gulls, but I really start to like them. They're actually really nice little things. Very frantic. They've got sharp little beaks, and they get in mob-handed, but they're lovely little things. Although they're very aggressive in their movements, they're not really aggressive to the birds. They're not really like looking to challenge other birds. Can you see the way the ducks are like trying to dominate one another and stuff? Although saying that they do it to themselves. I'm gonna shut up because I start with these random thoughts that I haven't really thought through. How many people on YouTube do that? Just talk random shit in their head as if it's a fact. How many people do that in life? That's the problem. Now, in my work, I'm very sure of myself. I take a lot of time and thought, and I know what I'm doing, and I know the right way to build things, the right way to help companies. But I've been doing that for 40 plus years. Whereas I've been watching these ducks for, I've been watching them a lot for, I don't know, 6 to 12 months. I don't know shit about them. I know a lot, but I don't really know that much about them. Still learning. Yeah, so I wonder who comes to watch a video about ducks and then wants to hear somebody rambling on about their professional roars. But isn't this just life? Isn't it just life? And we all go through this kind of stuff. We all go through these challenges, some sooner than others. Some people are probably thinking the things I'm saying are very basic child's play stuff and they've excelled way beyond these things. And some people some people are going through the same challenges as me. Some people haven't even begun. They're in complete denial about their lives. We all we're all on we're all on similar journeys, but different timelines. And as one of the yoga teachers says to me, and says to everybody, it doesn't matter what your positions look like. It matters, you know, about the own personal edges that they create within you. Somebody can be in a very deep pose, and somebody next to them can be only halfway down. But each person could be equally right in the edge of their capability, and they could be making the same amount of growth, or the person in the what would be considered the lesser pose is actually making more growth within themselves, within their mind, within their body. Growth. It's such a difficult thing to do. It's so painful. I was speaking to somebody yesterday, and you know, they were having some issues, and we were talking about how how difficult it is to actually grow and you know face how you're feeling about things, face how things are genuinely affecting you, face how your life is genuinely going. It's so much easier to kind of live in denial about about your deficiencies or about the problems in your life. And I think a lot of us do that. I did it for a long time, but it's so costly in the long run. And that's kind of the message that I'm giving professionally at the moment is look, sometimes you just got to stop and really sort things out and really do things properly, you know. And sometimes that takes longer than you want it to take. But the alternative is you just patch over a broken system and level it up slightly, but you still maintain all of the inherent problems for why you've had to do some work in the first place. A guy I knew, he once said to me, "You've got more time than you could possibly think," you know, and he said it very deeply to me. So I knew it was important. I knew it was like almost his big life lesson or something that he'd learned and was passing on. So I knew to listen carefully. And it took me, I think, 2 years to really understood the depth of those words. But I think if we all realize we had more time than we thought we had to do things. You know, it's easy to think, oh, I'm getting older. This is happening soon. I don't have time for this. My biological clock's ticking, etc. You know, and so it's easy to be very sort of panicked and think we have to act quickly and things must be fixed now. But the truth is, they don't. Some things are so big and so important that if it took our entire lives to get them right, that wouldn't be a life wasted. You know, if you solved some of these problems, on your dying day, and you got an hour or a day to live in your truth and reality and your full potential, that wouldn't be a waste. That's been a hard thought for me, a hard lesson. Thinking I need to get this done now. It's time. It's late in the day. I must fix these issues. I must get this thing or do this thing. Oh, somebody wants fed. Are you hungry? Are you hungry? You're looking at the seed in the bottom of my bag, aren't you? All right, come on then. There's a mix of seed in this. Come on, let him eat. There's enough. Let him eat. Ah, greedy chops. Yes, buddy. These guys, they come over to me and start pecking me in the back and stuff. They're like, come on, I want some food. All right, I'll give you some in a minute. Let me feed this handful to this guy. Okay, I hear you. I can hear you. All right, I see you. I see you. Yes, I'm gonna feed you in a minute. Let me just feed this. I will. Let me feed you, then I'll feed this guy. Then I'll feed you. You didn't wait long enough. Now you've gone. Come on, come back. Come back. There you go. I know you're hungry. Well, guys, I'm afraid today I only had a half a bag of seed. So today there's a lot of pellets in there. I've ordered some more, but it won't come until Monday, so I'm gonna have to pick some up locally. I did try and get some locally, and I did try and buy a large quantity locally, but they weren't too bothered, and they didn't. They said they'd call me back, and they didn't call me back, unless they're still processing my request. But I kind of thought it was about a 10-minute request. You know, that's the thing, isn't it? With like modern day shopping and things, and we're all we would all like to shop locally and we would all like to support our local businesses. But sometimes maybe local businesses are just don't do things well as the big companies. It's so much easier for me sometimes to order things on Amazon. And not just that it's easier, it's almost well, it's not impossible, but it's almost made extremely difficult by local businesses to order. And but what is that? Is that because local businesses are still rooted in expecting the customer to plan? Is there anything wrong with that? That's how we used to operate. Everybody had to do a little bit of planning in their life. But Amazon's taken away the need to plan. You run out of something, you order it on the night, you get it the next day. You know, yeah. Do you want to eat the food and not my hand? Huh? Look at this little guy. Look at this little guy. You're a little treat. Ah, you guys all have helped me a lot. Thank you. They're like friends, these guys. It's the first time I kind of thought that. They are the odd. Do you know what I mean? They're not really, but they're a great comfort to me. The least I can do is feed them. Good food. I pay for their services. You coming? You gonna be brave? He generally doesn't feed for me, that one. Hello, baby. Hello, baby. Hello, baby. Yep, he's trying to get in. He's just arrived. He's hungry. Will they let him in? Will they let him in? Go on, Stunner. You gotta do it. You gotta fight. You gotta do it. Boy, go on. Fill your belly. Ah, come on. Let's dish some of this out. Come on, boys. Mhm. Did someone peck you in the back, buddy? Hmm? Did someone peck you in the back? That was very rude, wasn't it? You're pecking everyone, aren't you? You want some pellets? You want some bigger pellets? There you go. They're fairly quicker, don't they? Hmm? Go on, get some of them pellets. There you go. What do you want? What do you want? What are you pecking my feet for? You want some seeds? Hmm? Yeah, these pellets fill them up fast. But the real sort of delicacy for them is the seeds. If they're starving, they'll gobble down a lot of these seeds, a lot of the pellets. But once they get over that initial hunger pan, the seeds are what does it for them. Well, I feel good. I feel like my rant's over, kind of thing. And I think that's the thing, if you're struggling with something, you're a bit sort of angry or upset or all odds, I think you just gotta make a new strategy. You gotta push yourself further to the next level. And I think once you do that, once you realize the course of action you're gonna take, then you settle down a bit. So yeah, I feel settled. It's taken me all week to come up with my plan. You know, whatever you guys need to do, whatever any of us need to do, have a think about it. You know, be brave, dig deep, and make your plan, push yourself to the next level, and just trust yourself. Really, we all know the answers for us. We all know what the things we would like to do. We all know the things that we should do or the things that should be done with, within our families, our relationships, our professions. It's important to trust yourself, and it's important to do what needs to be done. I think if we were all a little bit stronger and braver, and we all did the things that we knew needed to be done, the world would be a different place. Better is such a subjective term, but it would be a different place. Ah, yeah. It's nice when you come to a place of realization, even if you know it means some extra work for you. But if it's the right kind of work, who cares? It's like kind of being in your flow state, isn't it? When you're working in harmony with yourself, it just doesn't require as much energy, and all of your output can go to actually constructive things rather than sort of trying to determine what your output should be and in what guise it should be. And I think the birds have taught me a lot. All the animals down here have taught me a lot. They're all doing what they're supposed to be doing. And sometimes it's not pretty, but it's these guys, they're quite brutal sometimes, but they live in harmony. They live in harmony with one another. They live in harmony with the river. They live in harmony with the people here. Sometimes they'll eat each other's babies. Sometimes they'll force each other into acts they don't want to do. Are we the same as humans? Are we also in harmony, even though it looks like we're not? Do these animals go through the same struggles that we do? Some of the weaker ducks are forced to be stronger and calmer, and are we shaped by this world? Maybe. I see a lot of parallels. You can learn a lot just from watching animals and watching how they act. It's instinctive. Well, I would say the initial feeding frenzy is over. The initial frantic part is over, and we settle down a little bit now. Everybody's more or less full. Are you full or not? Huh? Do you still want some? Here, let's see. Do you still want a little bit of food? Yeah, you've been sat on the edges, haven't you? there's a magpie sitting on the railing. That one rarely comes down, but it's beginning to. Different animals trust at different rates. Ducks, ducks first. Ducks, rats, swans, although I had a short time with them before they disappeared. Um, then I would say these black-headed gulls, the jackdaws started coming in, seagulls, magpies, your your regular birds, your sparrows and all those other things. Very rarely will they come over. It's I like these. I really like these jackdaws. So beautiful. And generally, it's generally one member of the group kind of initiates. They'll kind of watch you for a while or stare deep into your eyes, deep into your soul, and then they'll kind of make a decision that they can trust you. And then a lot of the other members of that species, it's almost like a message is passed. This guy's all right. He's kind of okay. You don't have to worry too much about him. And they pass the message on to all their pals, and more of them begin to trust you. Hey, mama, are you hungry? Are you hungry, mama? You having some? Mm? Some seed, if you're brave enough. Brave enough this morning. Come on, baby. Mm. Mm. There you go. There you go. Who's a buddy? Who's a buddy? Who's a mama? Mm. What's a mother? Well, excuse me. That's me out of food. Got a little bit left in case anybody wants to come and give me the final pleasure of hand feeding. If anybody's struggling in life, I'd recommend you all sit for a while in nature. I remember, I think Eckhart Tolle said he did that. From I'm not recommending a guy, but he seems to say a lot of good stuff. Whether all of it applies to you, depends on your circumstances. But I think he said he sat on a park bench for a long time and just looked. He didn't judge. And I always got the feeling he kind of like saw behind the curtain in those moments. But perhaps it was just a simple case of just resetting, just resetting the brain, getting back to our natural states. We can get hijacked by our upbringings, our societies. But I think largely we're probably programmed to do the things we should do and the things we need to do. I think we're programmed at a deep genetic or whatever level. So I think all we have to do is find our way back to that. And we don't actually need to come up with any of the answers because all the answers are there. All the answers we need are deep inside of us. The hard work is just getting to that place. Go buy some food. Go sit by the river. Feed the ducks. And do it. Do it a good few times. Little petty squabble. Not too serious. They're not directly facing each other at this stage. They're just having a little war of words. Little disagreement. Oh, don't move too soon. He's moving. This guy's gonna go for him. Don't turn your back, sonny. Not over yet. Stand your ground. There you go. There you go. I think it's over now, boys. There you go. No need for violence this time. Simple disagreement, handled with words or quacks. Still going at each other. Still mouthing. Yeah, let it go. It's obviously not that important, is it? You've got to deal with something, you've got to deal with something. If not, get on with it. Yeah, look at all the coats changing. Unreal. Well, I think that'll do me this morning. Thank you. Thank you, nature. Thank you for the lessons. Thank you for the education. Thank you, life.